I deliver drugs professionally. Now, before you call the police, let me explain. My lab uses lipid nanoparticles, which are tiny balls of fat, to deliver DNA for gene therapies. Gene therapies are taking the world by storm, much like the Taylor Swift era store. Gene therapy saw massive success during the COVID-19 pandemic in the form of mRNA vaccines, which many of us probably received. But that was the tip of the iceberg. Gene therapies can be used to cure incurable cancers or to edit the DNA of babies with mutations. But to unlock this immense potential, DNA needs to be delivered inside of cells. As you might imagine, this is no trivial task. So all lipid nanoparticles so far have relied on a chemical, polyethylene glycol, or PEG, for stability. And you can see those wavy shapes on your left. However, PEG is a double-edged sword. It provides stability, yes, but our body recognizes it as a foreign substance. So if you administer a lipid nanoparticle with PEG multiple times, your body mounts an immune response, causing the therapy efficacy to drop, which is problematic because many diseases need recurring treatments. This is analogous to a mailman who has a life-changing piece of mail to deliver, but he knows it's life-changing, and so he feels the pressure. He's like, oh my gosh, I got to do it right. And to cope with the stress, he has to smoke. And he's smoking incessantly. He has to cope somehow. At first, it doesn't affect his job. But as he goes to the same neighborhood again and again, the residents start to complain. They say, we don't want our kids getting secondhand smoke. They call the HOA. The HOA says, oh my gosh. And then they ban the mailman from the neighborhood, which means no more life-changing mail to these residents. In this context, I invented a new lipid molecule in the far right there. And I discovered through high throughput screening that there were certain conditions where this lipid could form a brand new particle that did not need the PEG for stability. And it actually worked even better. And I said, well, man, that's interesting because everybody thinks you need PEG. And so to continue the analogy, this would be like we searched nationwide, the whole US, for a mailman who could do the stressful job without smoking. I don't know, maybe he did yoga or soul searching, but he had enough inherent stability to do it without smoking. And I think this is pretty exciting because if this sort of train of thought continues to work out, it would mean more accessible, life-changing gene therapy for more patients and more disease types. And I think that's pretty exciting. Thank you for listening.